What's going on, guys and gals? My name is Shadox, and today I am not releasing my Irma machine and pistol weapon review. That will be coming tomorrow. Today I wanted to cover this breaking information regarding Firestorm. Now, last week we got the official trailer for Firestorm. We saw lots of funny moments, and honestly, that was one of the best trailers that I've ever seen, especially for a Battlefield game. That just encapsulated what it means to be a Battlefield game. But today, just a few moments ago on Twitter, the Battlefield account released a few images of the Firestorm map called Halvøy. Now, they released a shot overlooking the western coast where you can see a few features in a bit more detail, like the lighthouse down here in the corner, and then up inland a little bit, it looks like there's like a train yard, factory, or something like that. And we do know that, you know, just by using logic, since those areas are so enticing and so isolated, that they're gonna have good loot. They're gonna be hot drops, if you will. Moving over, they actually posted a comparison of the Halvøy map with Hamada, and we always heard that Halvøy is 10 times bigger than Hamada, and this picture really puts that into perspective. I mean, if you load into a game on Hamada and you run all the way from the British spawn to the airfield, you're going to be running for several minutes, and Halvøy just absolutely obliterates the size of Hamada. It's absolutely insane. This is definitely the biggest map that we've ever had for any Battlefield, even bigger than, you know, Sinai Desert, or what was I can't remember the name of the desert map from Battlefield 2 that was slightly bigger than Sinai Desert. But this is insane. I was not expecting this big of a map. When I first saw the first image that we talked about just a few minutes ago, I saw the western coast and I saw a little bit of the snow, and I only thought a little bit of the snow was actually going to be in the map, and then they released this image and it just completely blew my mind. And so let's actually go over some of the areas that we can see, that we can try to speculate about, and then we can actually start to figure out, you know, where the hot drops are going to be, where the vehicle breakouts are going to be, where you're going to want to drop to get good loot. And while there isn't any official information, we can use just basic logic to figure out, you know, okay, these areas are going to attract more attention, and therefore they need to be more high risk, high reward. And so we're going to start going through the map now, and I'm just going to quit rambling while we're at it. So down in the southwest corner, we have the lighthouse island that I mentioned previously. Obviously, this is going to have some pretty good loot. I don't know if there's a vehicle breakout. There might be one in one of the larger buildings or the barns. I'm kind of wondering what's going to be underneath the lighthouse, maybe some Easter eggs or something like that. And then just inland was another area that we talked about on the side view, and this is the, I'm going to call it train yard. I don't know if it actually is a train yard. It might just be a factory. Lots of open areas with some very, very large warehouses. And so, you know, CQB fighting, that's where you're going to want to be. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of CQB weapons dropped down in there as well. Moving up north, we can see lots of little, it looks like fishing villages. There's plenty of houses, some piers, and some inland ponds and lakes and all that stuff. I guess you could call it fjords. I actually think this is where the majority of the intro sequence for the trailer that was released was shot, up here, just because some of the buildings do match that description. Moving a little bit further inland now, we can see this giant lake just breaking up the map. And what's crazy to think about is that this lake right here is bigger than most Battlefield maps. I want to just think about that for a second. There's more water inside this map than most maps have map. That is insane in my opinion. It's going to be really interesting to see how that breaks things up, because you're going to have to make a major choice. Are you going to take the time to go all the way around, or are you going to hit up, you know, that one choke point, you know, on the major dam up here towards the north? Or are you gonna try to swim, you know, maybe right around here where there's a little bit of a narrow channel? It's going to be really interesting to see what the gameplay dynamic is here, going from one side of the map to the other. And so I think there are going to be a lot of teams on that dam up there, and it's going to be a really, really heavy fighting area. There's potentially going to be a vehicle breakout here. I don't think it was the one that we saw at the end of the trailer, but, you know, it could be. moving on, if we look up to the north of the dam, there's a road that leads up to the north, and there looks to be like a major village here with lots of little houses and stuff like that. Probably like mid-tier loot, probably still a good place to drop. Just because it has good access to a lot of the other parts of the map. You can go to the west, you can go to the east, you can go south, unimpeded, you know, whichever direction you want to go from there. So I think this northern village is going to be a really popular drop site. Moving just to the southeast, we can see this large quarry, which is going to be really interesting because personally I won't probably ever drop here just because, you know, dropping into the middle of a quarry, you're going to have that elevation disadvantage and you're going to be really easy to pick off from a distance. They're going to have to balance that with some insane loot, and so, you know, high power weapons, you know, tier 4 weapons, vehicle breakouts, what have you. So I'm really interested to see, you know, what the risk reward payoff is for quarry, because if the loot isn't good enough, nobody's going to want to go there. Moving down further south, we see what appears to be a ore deposit. I guess you could, you know, maybe like a stockpile area. There appears to be like 2 large buildings and then, you know, some gravel piles or ore piles right next to those. And it's, you know, I have no idea what's going to be in there. I do have a feeling that one of those buildings is going to have a vehicle breakout, you know, whether it be a tank or, you know, maybe a helicopter, who knows? We will have to see. Further south, well, actually just to the south of that, we can see this valley running all the way the entire span of the southern map. And people are generally lazy, and so if you want to get a lot of kills, you know, watch these tracks, watch this valley, and you're gonna catch people coming up and down it, you know, not taking a more rugged terrain route to try to just get to point A, from point A to point B as quickly as possible. So be mindful, don't just walk in the bottom of the valley because you are going to be a really easy target. Down further to the southwest, we can see a very large port, and we can see some tall structures, looks like some oil containers, or ore containers, which, you know what, that's what Norway had, was a lot of iron ore. And so, you know what, that's playing into the theme. That's something that we see in the Narvik map. Moving up north from port, we can see this little ice lake area with roads all around it. I'm not sure what's going to be around there. It's an interesting area, but is it just going to be devoid? Is it going to be, you know, just for, you know, terrain diversity? You know, what is going to be here? There might be a building over here on the eastern side of the ice lake, but you know what? I really don't know. Interestingly, so if we go from the northern tip of the ice lake and we go straight east, or excuse me, if we go straight west, we can see this almost perfect circle. And so I'm wondering if that might be a silo of some sort. You know, World War II, there weren't ballistic missiles yet, but there definitely were silos of different kinds. Or maybe this could be like a, you know, a helipad. Maybe there's going to be a helicopter there. Who knows? That is an interesting area, even though it doesn't look too obvious, it doesn't look too interesting. It's just odd, and I want to drop there just to see what's there, because I'm willing to bet that there is something there that's not just nothing. Further north from that, we see another couple of villages and what looks to be like a small military complex up in the far northeastern corner of the map. And you know, if you take a wider look at the entire map, you can see all of these roads connecting all the places. There's no real straight lines from point A to point B, and you're gonna have to make a lot of decisions on which way you want to go. You know, and depending on where the circle is, you're gonna have to decide, okay, do we need to go north to the lake, or mid lake, or south lake? You know what, where are we gonna drop? Are we gonna drop at Lighthouse and fight all the way over to the eastern side of the map? And so just by how big this map is, and you know, I can't compare it to the size of, you know, Kings Canyon and Apex, or the Blackout map, or, you know, the Fortnite map, because, you know, the metrics are a little bit odd there. I'm sure there will be other people that might be able to compare those. I have not played enough Fortnite or PUBG to be able to feel confident in knowing those sizes right off the top of my head. But I'm really excited for this. I am extremely excited for this. this map has way more diversity, not only in terrain features, but in elevation. We have the large hills over here in the western side of the map that looks like they have at least 60 meters of elevation difference between that and the ocean and the lake. And so that's going to be really interesting to see. How does that verticality play in? You know, we see the valley in the south. Where are people going to land? And that is what is really interesting. We see all sorts of metas being built in Battle Royales depending on where people land. For instance, if we take a look at Apex, the most popular drop site right now is Skulltown because people want to instantly engage. And so, you know, obviously you're going to have your hotspots with, you know, Factory, Dam, I think maybe Quarry, Northern Village, and then possibly Port. I think those are going to be the biggest areas that people will be dropping. And you know what, if you're looking to get a lot of kills really quickly, then you're probably also going to want to drop there as well. And I'm sure you will be rewarded with lots of loot, maybe some vehicles, maybe those helicopters. It's another thing I'm really excited for is the helicopters. I loved flying helicopters in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. I was terrible at it until later on in Battlefield 4, and so I'm really I want to start practicing that again. I want to get good at that and have a lot of fun with that with my squad. So that is what I have for you guys right now. I know this was a little bit of a ramble, and I'm really good at rambling. I'm not very good at staying on topic, but let me know what you guys think of this map. It's absolutely massive. I'm sure there's already lots of memes about that on Twitter, but let me know where you guys plan to drop. You know, if you do play Firestorm, because I do realize that not everybody is super thrilled about Firestorm. I was really on the fence about the idea when it was first announced, but seeing how things have progressed, I'm getting more and more excited for this, and I am really looking forward to next Monday. We are only a week away from Firestorm releasing, and I am really excited for that. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I've rambled on for too long already, and this video is almost 13 minutes long. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you all for the support, and make sure you guys come back tomorrow for the weapon review over the Irma machine and pistol. I promise that video will be scripted and I won't be going on so many tangents. My name is Shadox, and I hope to see you on the battlefield.